All right. El Palco de Honor. How are you, Cesar?
Hola, Christian. Hola. Doing great, man. It's amazing to be here today after celebrating such an amazing victory today. Great game. I think Celta gave us a bit of trouble at first, but we came through. A 5-2 win that get me lots to be excited about for next week.
All right. So let's break this down a little bit. So hang on one second. All right. So you know, we have the first game in the Bernabeu in 560 days. Number one. Let me say that number again. 560 days since the last time we played in the Santiago Bernabeu. All right. That is something right there. And it's obviously because of the COVID-19 pandemic that we had endured, and the obviously the renovation of the stadium going on that started in the end of 2018 into 2019. So we have those things that are at play. On top of which, we're coming off of an international break that we had 2 weeks where we had no Madrid games. We have Eduardo Camavinga, who is a new midfielder, right? And there is Cesar going bananas. Go, I'll get your thoughts on him. So he comes in and he is on the bench. All right. So let's go step by step here. Okay. So we played Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo last season, they were mid-table team. Codet, Argentine midfielder from River Plate. I remember him very well because as a Boca supporter, I rooted against him every Sunday back in the day.
You sound a little bitter, just a little.
I don't forget things, man. I'll forget a beautiful woman's name, but I won't forget a midfielder from 15 years ago who didn't, you know.
I think soccer. That's the beauty of soccer. There is some things that, for good or for bad, there's some you just they sit there and they'll sting or they'll give you that just joyous and most pleasurous moment, depending on which side of the ball you're in.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so we have the game, and the game is kicked off, and there's 25,000 supporters that are allowed in the Bernabeu. They have the blue tarps on various sectors right near the field. You see, I don't have the images here because I'm not allowed to, unfortunately. But you see the towers. You see the beginnings of the roof, the retractable roof formation, the structure above the field that's going to take place. And they're still going through it. They're still building it. The outside skin still needs to be done. There's a number of things that they have to finish. So we're about 13, 14 months away from completion, according to the club.
Correct.
Hopefully nothing horrible happens here. But Cesar, the game got off to a rough start, down 1-0.
I think it started wrong. It started, I think we got first game jitters, and I say first game because 560 days. We're talking almost 2 full years away from the Bernabeu. The last home game we had, if I remember correctly, was a Clásico, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about there's this animosity that Real Madrid has already came in and won a Liga and fought to the last second for another Liga before we were able to come home. So there's just that feel that it's gonna give you jitters. That's one. The other one is I think Celta came in and they were able to pry on a couple of mistakes defensively. I don't want to point him at one particular player. I think there were just a defensive errors in general for both goals. But from the get go, they Celta came in and they came in ready to strike and take advantage of our mistakes. Because actually, right after their first goal, they didn't cross midfield for like 15, 20 minutes. So I don't think that Real Madrid came in, feeling like they were going to concede the game. But that goal early on by Santimina sure came in and gave us a punch in the gut really early.
Yeah, that was really unexpected.
Mhm.
It's so early on. I mean, it was within 5 minutes of the game starting, and we were right already up on the ropes basically. And It took us 20 minutes to equalize, which was a beautiful goal. I mean, it was just a gorgeous, gorgeous goal.
The build up to the finish was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty unbelievable. I mean, you have the midfielders coming in with the cross, the pass, and then the finish by Karim into the net. I mean, he really has defied a lot of critics because remember years ago, in the box, he muffs it or he looks to pass, he doesn't look to shoot. Man, these last 2 seasons, he has really become a force in the box, hasn't he?
En fuego. En fuego.
En fuego. Could you say it more gringo than that?
No, dude, I absolutely, I love Kareem. I got a kitten. His name is Kareem because he's El Gato. It's no, but Kareem Benzema has just become that light that we needed him to be as a forward. I think that he's just flourished. I think that that captain's armband looks really good on him. I think it belongs in his arm. I know that by seniority, Marcelo is the rightful owner of that bracelet, but it looks and feels right in Kareem Benzema. I think that for so many years he's received so much criticism, and he's been the number 9 that never was the top scorer, not even within the team, much less in the league. So I think that he's always received all these attacks for left and right, and then he had all these off-field issues and France and all. But Benzema has been there, and he's been tough as nails, and he has been amazing. I think Benzema has more than earned the captaincy of Real Madrid more than anything else today with 3 beautiful goals, including that PK. Benzema came to say, "This is my home. I will lead this team today and moving forward."
Yeah, and he's got 5 goals in La Liga right now. I mean, he's right there at number 1. Vinicius right behind with number 4. I mean, it's nice to have 2 Real Madrid players on top of the goal scoring lead. Isn't that battling for Pichichi?
You know what really makes me feel good? The fact that outside of Karim Benzema, I feel like there's somebody already stepping up. Like you said, with Vinicius already with 4 goals, he already has half the tally of whatever anybody else outside of Karim Benzema did last season. When it came to scoring goals, I feel like it was Karim Benzema, and then nobody else really surpassed what was it, like the 12 goal mark or something like that. It was some ridiculous number like that, unheard of by Real Madrid standards. And I got to tell you, I don't know what Don Carleto did to Vinicius, but this kid it feels like he flipped the switch. Like he connected finally gears, like his engine is full go. And today, probably one of his best games in a Real Madrid uniform. The way he celebrated that goal going onto the stands, very football-like. And very well worth that yellow card. But God, was it amazing to see him feel that passion. That is what a Madridista really feels.
Yeah. The emotional side of me was all behind him. And then the sensible, logical side of me was, oh no. Oh no.
This pandemic has had me just so wound up. The only thing I thought I was like, nobody's wearing a mask. And I was like, oh God. And then he goes to hug everybody else. I was like, please tell me they're all fine. That was the one thing I kept thinking. That's just how my head is just in so many places at once.
That's it. Quarantine all of them in Valdebebas.
You know what? If he's going to keep putting performances like today, so be it. No more Noche Madrileña for Vinicius.
Exactly. I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't seen anything like that where a player goes into the stands in the Bernabeu. I've
never seen that before. Like I said, it was very football-like. Like when somebody scores a touchdown and they jump up into the stands. In soccer, you don't see that. Yes, players do come up to the sidelines and they greet their fans and wave, but I've never seen somebody just jump up.
If it would be me, I need a trampoline to get up there.
You know what it reminded me of? It made me think of some of these great players. Again, and I'm gonna poke at your Boca ego right here. I've seen players in the Bombonera jumping and just hanging up on the fences after they score, celebrating goals at the Bombonera. And I'm like, that is what it felt like. That was the equivalent at the Bernabeu because he hopped a little fence and jumped on. That's exactly what it was. I'm like, it was just pure passion. That's all that was. That was all like no frustrations, nothing but joy and love for the team.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like it. Passion in Boca Juniors is second to none.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Thank you for that note, by the way. So let's move back to
our team.
Let's go back that way.
Bring it on. Sorry, I got off topic.
But let's just
I carried away.
Let's just let our defense was bad. Their defense was worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just plainly put, right?
Yeah, and I think that Madrid dominated the game left and right, even though we were 1-0 since what is it, like the fifth minute per se. Madrid was all over them. I mean, we had the luxury. We had our center backs 3 quarters up the field. We dominated. We passed. We crossed. We shot, and we had complete dominance of the team. And I think their defense got very, very. They were afraid of knowing the amount of weapons that, and I feel like the way the team seems to be clicking. And the team was Celta was making a lot of mistakes. I think our mistakes were that we kept letting them counter us because they had several plays where whether they really managed to take a shot or not on Courtois, they had plenty of plays where on a counter they were coming right down the wings and reaching at least 3 quarters of our field. So our defense did have a lot of struggles today. In general, perhaps not a single player, but in general, we did make a lot of little silly mistakes that opened us up for risk of getting scored on.
Yeah, the
But
first
Celta definitely let us do more with them.
Yeah, they did. But I mean, there were a lot of imprecisions in the first half hour, 35 minutes, expected for players that are coming from an international break and they travel many miles. They don't have their legs and they're tired and they didn't have a full week to prepare in training. And Celta, their team doesn't have players that are international duty worthy, let's say,
Hmm.
at the moment. So they had 2 weeks,
To prepare.
and if you remember, Cesar, you probably remember, but for the everyone's watching, the past decade, Real Madrid, after international breaks, have a losing record in La Liga. Losing record. They do not do well in games after international break. And the reason why is because a lot of those first team players play for national teams and they play in 2, 3 games and they have to travel within Europe or across the Atlantic to go to South America. They got to come back and they only have 1 to 2 days. They probably don't sleep, and then they have to play that game. And they're playing a fully rested, well coached team that's ready to play them in La Liga and trap them.
Yeah, I think you hit it right, the nail right in the head. I think you're talking about players, even if they play within Europe, you're still talking about players that are having to fly from, from Spain all the way out to the most remote corners of Europe, if that's what it takes, depending on the groups and whatnot. You're talking about they're still traveling 2, 3, 4,000 miles by in first class and whatnot. Doesn't matter. You're still jet lagged. You're still playing 3 games, and I feel like for some odd reason, Madrid players always come back, and the injury bug always bites us coming back out of international break. And we were very fortunate that we were able to pick up our players and take on a very very decent Celta team today that was very well coached, very well prepared, and they knew that perhaps man to man they didn't have what it took to beat us and dominate us throughout the game, but they did know what it would take for us to lose the game in counter, because I think that was the game that Celta was playing today. And I'm a little surprised that Iago Aspas actually looked like he was lacking a step compared to what I've seen do against us in years past. Maybe Father Time is finally catching up to Iago Aspas, but God,
Well,
has
Father
he been?
Time, yeah, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, and I think he will continue to be.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just that yes, when you're pushed up so far up the field to attack, and you have possession, you have shots, you have opportunities, and everything on the back end, you don't position yourself correctly. The timing is off. The communication's not there. Counterattacks will lead to goals against you, even if you are dominating on one end. And that's
Hmm.
what we saw today with Nacho making a really terrible challenge at midfield and compromising the entire back line, which I thought that was completely his fault. And then you had Miguel Gutierrez fumbling the ball on the left side. Casemiro didn't come to challenge correctly, and Militao was too late, and the ball goes into the net for the first goal. Like those 2 goals, I think that this upcoming week, the team really needs to analyze and work on counterattack defense.
Hmm.
I think that was the biggest takeaway from today.
I agree. I think it was just little misconnections, little missteps, silly mistakes. I didn't see any grave errors by one particular player in general. Like, yeah, I can think of like well, yeah, Miguel Gutierrez gave a crappy pass to like that led eventually to the first goal, or the tackle on Nacho for the second one, where Miguel Gutierrez is also very behind on position, and he was never going to be able to catch up to the player that eventually led to the second goal. Yes, those were mistakes that you could probably pinpoint to a particular player, but they were in conjunction. It's that whole back line needs to get back in sync. You're talking about the only player who's been consistently there playing as a starter in the last 6 years is Dani Carvajal, and he's coming off a very, very lengthy injury. So you're talking about a brand new, in many ways, a brand new backline for a championship contending and a European championship contending Real Madrid. So it will take a little bit of time, but and Carleto's a very, very smart coach. I think that he will work those kinks out because the defense is not bad. It just needs to work out that perfect timing. I think that's going back to the two defenders that were with us for the last 10 years in between Ramos and Varane. I feel like they solidified that back line where their voice and their presence almost carried everybody else to move around in different throughout different parts of the pitch without even having to say much. Militao and Nacho still have to develop that connection and that presence in the field, particularly knowing that you have a kid in Miguel Gutierrez who has a huge promise. And I really hope that he continues to play the solid games like he has been for the most part since he first jumped up to the first team.
Well, they saved us a number of times in the past. I'm talking about Ramos and Varane.
Absolutely.
Where it could have led to many goals against us, and they were able to make a sound decision where they were able to stop the pass, they were able to kick it out of bounds, they were able to close down a forward. When a forward is running and Ramos is trekking, you better believe in the back of their mind, it's in their head that he's coming, and it'll throw them off. It might
it's a presence.
Half a second, you never know. But Nacho and Militao don't have that, like you said, the right word was presence. They don't have that presence yet of fear in the opponent's eyes yet. They can be solid, they can be consistent, they can cover holes and fill in, but for them to be the next, dual pair that's going to be legendary, that's going to be the fortress. A little ways away to go on that one.
I was gonna say the word elite until you said the word legendary, and I think that sums it up right because I think that's where Ramos belongs. Regardless of how he went off from Real Madrid, Ramos, if Real Madrid ever put statues around the Bernabeu or even around Valdebebas, Ramos would have one with his header in the 93rd minute in the Champions League final, or I don't know what other moment, but Ramos would certainly be there. That presence, he is legend. He's a legend of the team, just like many others, of course. Yeah. So that is earned. That you are not born with that, and nobody gives you that. You earn it on the pitch day in and day out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because at Real Madrid there's so many that have passed through. I mean, we'd run out of space.
Yeah, that's why I said Valdebebas. There's a lot more room.
We literally have to put a statue in every corner in the northern part of Madrid. I mean, to cover everybody. Just to be fair.
I agreed.
Maybe Ramos you can put it at Neptuno.
Oh, there you go. They sure could use some. Would that be the ultimate jab?
Oh my goodness! How long do you think it would take for them to take that off? I mean, honestly,
I don't. If we were to drop it off at midnight, I don't think it would make it to 6 a.m.
No, it would not make it. No way. I think Chiringuito would have live coverage of.
Oh my God! Yeah, Giuseppe Pedrola and Edu Aguirre would be just on us.
Oh yeah. Now, how about that header from Karim?
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
Woo!
It didn't need a whole lot of precision because it wasn't on the upper V. If I think Fernando Palomo and Mario Kempes today, as I was listening to the Spanish transmission from ESPN Plus, was
shout out to them.
Yeah, a big shout out. The strength on the neck. It really all came out to because he just popped it enough to just give it enough of an angle that the goalie was coming counter-legged and he just couldn't reach out. It was enough. It was strong enough. It was well positioned enough that it was going to make it in. It was a beautiful header. The cross was spot on cross.
Oh yeah, it was like in slow motion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of just looked like in slow motion. I was like, wow.
It was like Karim Benzema was floating for a second and then bam.
He pulled a Cristiano.
I was thinking that. I didn't want to quite say it. I don't know if it belonged in that same sentence, but yes, I was thinking that.
He pulled one. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
And then Camavinga coming in at minute 65.
I have been preaching about this kid forever.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on now.
The gamer in me loves playing FIFA, okay? Right. I spotted this kid 2 years ago. I love playing manager mode, and I don't like playing with big teams. I like playing with small teams and with low budgets, and I like to make them competitive. So the budgets in FIFA that you only have are very low. So you have to go after gems that are just, kids are 17, 18-year-old. This kid the name FIFA put his name on my map. So I started following him in real life, and I started seeing what he was doing at Rennes, and I started realizing that this kid had a big star painted on him. And Real Madrid, he was linked with Real Madrid since well over a year ago. Then somehow the talks just kind of went off, and then bam, we snatched him in the last day of the transfer market. I was so excited when I heard that. The fact that he came in and scored within what, like 10 minutes of coming on. That goal should have been Lucas, by the way, because what a play. But the fact that he came in, it's like you came in debut at the Bernabeu with the goal. Not many Real Madrid stars can ever say that.
So I was texting with former chairman of your Pena, Kenneth Jamora. Shout out to Kenneth, by the way. I texted him saying that Luka Modric waltzed into the box like Fred Astaire.
He just class, finesse,
and so Kenneth laughing, he's like, "That's a Ray Hudson impression, isn't it?" I was like, I missed the guy.
That is funny.
As much
shout
as
out to Ray as well.
Yeah. Shout out to Ray Hudson. Shout out to those guys. I mean, miss them tremendously. But Steve McManaman, Ian Dark. I was watching the English language broadcast. So, Steve is a former Madridista.
I love Steve.
Yeah, I mean, he's terrific at what he does, and he's really great at being as, down to the bare bones, down to what it is and how it's showing out there. And, he's terrific, But I just had to throw that nugget in there because sometimes you just need a little bit of color,
Hey, it's what makes our podcast fun, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's so so winning 5-2, it's nice to get those 3 points against the team that you're supposed to, expectation.
Agreed. I think that I've been a firm believer, and I state this often and often. I encounter very positive and negative reactions when I say this, but I think that ligas are won or lost against teams from the middle of the table and down, not from the ones above, because we will take points away from each other one way or another. We balance out. We lose ligas against teams that are at bottom feeders, and I don't mean this with any disrespect or anything. I mean teams that are trying to survive relegation, teams that are just not necessarily at that premium or elite level that are consistently contending for Europa League or Champions League. I mean those teams that are just kind of always there making noise, but that's where I think ligas are lost, and I think that's where we have lost many ligas where we could have won them, and then we have this amazing game against our eternal rivals or against the city rivals, and then suddenly we come and drop points against a team that is likely going down to the second division. Those are the ones that really hurt, and I think that Celta, although it's a middle of the table team, Celta is a team that has scored 1 goal to today. 1 goal, 0 assists. Celta was coming in struggling a lot, and we made mistakes that we gave them 2 goals. If we had been solid on defense, perhaps we would not have given any. And we would have had a clean sheet for Courtois. But that's football. Football is like that. It doesn't matter if you have 100% or 99% of possession. If you have one bad play, you will or you could lose.
Oh yeah, and you allow 1 or 2 goals, but you score 5. It's a nice day in the office.
I can live with that.
Nice day in the office. That I remember saying before. I maybe it was in a Providence episode with Nacho and Beto and company.
Saludos.
Saludos. Of course, absolutely. The great guys. I remember saying that 90 points, get 90 points, you win La Liga. Now we're not talking about in the past seasons where Madrid and Barcelona were super teams and you got 100 points and you could lose. We're talking about now where the talent disparity is not as pronounced as in years prior. So you could win La Liga at 90, at 85 even.
Yeah.
I mean, Atletico didn't earn more than 87 points, I think, 86.
That sounds about right.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, they're shy of 90, but they're right up there.
What I'm saying is with 90 points is that take away the Champions League and Europa League teams that are in those competitions, the top 6, all those other teams, you get your 3 points at home, they're 3 points in their stadium, there's your 90 points. No matter what you do with the other teams, no matter what, you could lose to the other teams, but you take care of business
Mm-hmm.
with these middle table. I love a word that Don Florentino uses: modest.
Yeah, there you go.
Modest.
That's
I
a very,
like that.
very,
I
yeah,
like
I
that
like
word.
it.
Modest.
I may have to steal that.
Modest. Yeah, our president said it first. Just wanted to point that out. So anyway, so anyway,
Kudos.
that is how you can win La Liga, to get to 90
Mm-hmm.
points that way. So you're not forced to have to win at Sevilla, to win at Atletico, to win at Barcelona. It'd be nice to win those games, but you're not forced.
Mm-hmm.
Where it depends on you to do that to win the title.
Yeah, it puts you in a position where you don't have to be chasing 10 points with 10 matches to go, where you know that chances are you could have the tougher part of the schedule remaining compared to Barca or Atletico, and you're hoping that they draw points. Once your aspirations to win a Liga are hoping that other teams drop, that means that you didn't do something. You missed something throughout the season. Going back to Nacho, he's a big believer of the colchon. He likes building that cushion of points ahead early in the season so that when you come to those struggles and when the season gets tough and you get all those injuries, and in January, February, March, and then the team has that capability of losing or dropping certain points. But me, on the other hand, I'm more where, like I mentioned, take care of business at home and take care of business of those teams that you are meant to beat and not necessarily always give points. Dropping ending up with a draw in the 85th minute to a team that's very modest really hurts, because you know that you should have taken 3 points home and gone to celebrate. Instead, you go home questioning whether Real Madrid really even deserved that tie sometimes. And as unfair as it sounds to say that, sometimes we have played like that. But Real Madrid should take care of those.
Next time, I'd like to invite Nacho on soon, because I that colchon that you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds to me as if you want to do a sprint first half of the season and rack up the points, rack up the wins in Champions League as fast as possible, and then coast. And I think it's better to soar towards the end of the season, not peak too early. You peak too early, you're going to get tired in the second half of the season.
And I feel like your stress levels as a team go up, because now you're watching your back and you feel like
Yeah,
you start seeing that cushion get smaller and smaller and smaller.
yeah.
And I am with you. And like I said, I don't I totally understand not just philosophy behind that. And I think obviously it's nice to go to the winter break with a 15-point lead. But what happens is you're expecting your team to start dropping points, to get complacent, to go through a bad spot. And you know what? Had I been Atletico last year, I would have been sweating bullets, because Atletico built a huge cushion in the first half last year. But what happened then?
Yeah.
There were teams that hit their low points in their seasons at different stages. Atletico hit it in, what was it, like that, like late January, February to almost April. They were just ties and losses and ties and losses where they should have been expected to win.
Yeah.
And I think they got
They
very
were a tie and
uncomfortable.
a
They
loss away from losing La Liga.
they were very uncomfortable. They won La Liga and they deserved it because of what they did in general. But God, I bet you they were sweating bullets.
Oh
I
no,
don't
no,
like what
they I mean, you're correct. It's that they were a tie or a loss away from losing La Liga.
exactly, and that's the thing that it makes me too uneasy. I think that if you're gonna be the champion after 38 weeks, you should show dominance throughout and peak at the right moment and not too early. You peak too soon, coasting may not get you through. You might just need that extra push that may or may not
Yeah,
come at the end of the year.
yeah. Real Madrid in 2012, 2017, they peaked in the second half of the season. I remember those
Hmm.
seasons very well. What happened in the first half is that they rotated a lot in the first half. They used a lot of reserves. They used a lot of different players in different positions. In certain instances, they split the minutes extremely well, so that
Hmm.
when they got to after the winter break, they were able to go in the down stretch. They were down the stretch. They were able to really go full hard, and they were healthy. They were clicking on all cylinders, getting those wins, and they ran through. They
Yeah,
ran
you
through.
you save some of those minutes, because if you're talking about a team like Real Madrid, who is always expected to be challenging for La Liga and Copa del Rey and Champions League, you're talking about upwards of well over 60 games a season if you're expected to go all the way through in all championships, right?
Yeah.
So 60 something games in a 9 month period, it's a lot of games for guys that may be 25, 30, especially right now that we have so many guys that are on the 30 plus side. And if
Yeah.
you don't rotate enough and you don't give those breaks and you don't sub them out early or let the young guy come in and kind of step in and just maybe just cushion them or make them feel comfortable alongside some other well-established players, you're going to burn out your starting 11 too soon. And when you do that, oh, you definitely do not want to be the team that's always looking over their shoulder come March, because
Right.
I feel like it's just it makes your team feel uneasy.
Yeah. Moving on to this topic that I wanted to bring up. Barcelona and Sevilla was a postponed game.
Hmm.
Um, and early in the week it was a thing where I think both clubs or Barcelona would they were saying that they don't have the players, they didn't that they were going to the international break and they were not going to have enough to compete in this game, and it went to a court, it went to a council. I mean,
Hmm.
a court had to rule on this for La Liga, and they ruled in their favor, saying that yeah, it's because of the game that's being scheduled, after the break and with the short period of time, blah blah blah, and all that. They were ruled in favor basically, so the game got postponed. Barcelona Sevilla. Uh, what are your thoughts on that?
I had to do a little bit of research on this because when I first looked at my ESPN calendar, just looking at who was playing when, what times, I wanted to just kind of keep up with the games for the weekend. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I see that postponed, and I'm like, okay, well, something really triggered that. I knew something was going on, but I had to. It took me some time to really get some real info, and I think that what happened here is okay, sure, valid points, but what about everyone else? Barcelona is not the only team that sends internationals across seas. I get that it's been difficult, especially for teams of that caliber, and it was a very big match against Sevilla as well. But I think the one thing that really irks me is that this is setting now precedent for what's going to happen in the next FIFA break. Is there's something that FIFA is going to have to figure out and say, you know what, then maybe when we do FIFA games, we got to give them a whole week to come back home to their clubs and be able to prepare. Or is this going to become just the next thing where either clubs are going to be reluctant to release players, whether there is a FIFA penalty or not, or whether or are teams simply going to say, well, you know what, I'm going to come in and I'm gonna take you to court because I cannot be competitive with the players I have left because my guys are just showing up late or I just simply don't have enough players. I think that's the one thing that really we need to pay attention to. The precedent that was set here by these teams in the court. Once you go to court and there's a ruling, there is an official binding decision that can be taken from that moment forward until there is something more pressive that can overturn it and say that was the incorrect call initially.
Hmm. Yeah. When I first saw this, I thought this was horrendous because you have a reserve team. You have a cantera, I imagine,
Mm-hmm.
right? Both teams, and you said it first. They're not the only two teams that sent players to the international duties. Real Madrid sent a number of players to South America and to Europe, and they
Mm-hmm.
showed up, and we played, and we won the game today, but we played
Mm-hmm.
the game that was scheduled. That's the way it works.
That's the way it's
And
always worked.
it's always worked this way. So why is it that it seems to me that you're giving special treatment to these teams, two teams, for circumstances that other teams are suffering from, but you're giving it to them, and that to me is an unfair competitive advantage right off the
Absolutely.
bat. Right off the
Absolutely.
bat. Now, if there was something beyond that, if there's something else that we don't know about, then we need to know, because that is a game in La Liga that is an important game. Barcelona Sevilla is an important game. Now, forget about Champions League coming in the middle of the week. My whole thing is you should have players to play in a game like that. You should. If you are a major club and you have X amount, hundreds of millions in payroll, no doubt you have that kind of payroll. You telling me you can't field 15 guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other big thing is, as you're going is, so both of these teams send many players to international duty and all. So if you're clearly thinking that, oh, I don't have enough players to play against this other big team, Barcelona or Sevilla, or because I got Champions League the week after that, then are you really considered to be at that echelon of a team, that level, because you're going to come up with these silly excuses? And I'm using silly in the most respectful way I can, because I personally would have used a different word for that. But
I know.
it's
I'm
unexcusable. It's
thinking of plenty
unexcusable.
right now.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's my point. Like, I don't mean to come out and insult, but I think it was irresponsible to come out and plead for this game to be postponed, and then suddenly now what, you got two big teams that are headed toward Champions League, coming out with fresh players because they didn't play over the weekend when everybody else in Europe did.
Yeah.
It's a completely unfair advantage. I am with you on that. And like
Absolutely.
I said, and what now concerns me the most is, what are all the other big teams going to do the next time this comes up? Is this going to become now the next joke? Because if this is going to be the way it's going to be played, then I I don't know which way football is going then.
Yeah. And the next time I talk to some of my friends in the media, I'm going to say, where in the world was your criticism of these two teams doing this? If Madrid did this,
All over.
what would their reaction be? That is the $1 million question that I would ask them. Well, how would you react if Real Madrid said, you know what, we can't play on Sunday. We have 10 players that are in international duty and blah, blah, blah. We can't play. You tell me how the reaction would have been. The reaction that I mean, I didn't find out about this until recently, much recently. This happened early in the week, mind you.
Yeah,
But
I had a hard time looking for information on this. Literally, I was looking on Friday.
I know, that's the thing. This is an enormous deal. You said the correct word, precedent. This is a precedent.
Yeah, it's irresponsible that these teams were able to pull
Mind-blowing.
this off.
It's mind blowing. I honestly, I could not believe it. And I'll tell you when I found out. The announcers today brought it up in the 70th minute, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? Actually, and the guys in Spanish actually covered it too. Mentioned it like, oh yeah, the game got postponed because
the
whole, so it's like almost like brushing it over. And I was like,
oh my goodness.
I think it takes a little more than that, and I get it that it should have happened yesterday and whatnot. But still, like, I didn't see it come out in any breaking news. I didn't see no big article on any newspaper that I read, online or not, saying, oh, game postponed, ruling this and that. Is it fair? Is it not fair? The other thing I would have liked to see maybe other teams complain and be like, is this really fair? Because I think that
the club, Madrid, from what I understand, and I mean, I could be wrong about this, but from what I heard is that Madrid knew that this was going to happen and they stayed silent, thinking that it was going to pertain to the whole weekend.
Okay, I can see that.
Everyone was going to get postponed, thinking,
and not just those two teams.
Right. The ruling is going to come down. This is a situation happening here, but we understand that the other clubs have players in the international duty, so we decided to postpone the whole weekend. Now, Madrid was thinking that was going to occur, and it did not happen. It was only the selected game, and afterwards, the club, they're like, what?
They got blindsided.
We have to play? Wait, what is, like, after the fact is their reaction, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's called a sucker punch.
I don't know, like, what if Madrid ever was super vocal about it? I mean, would it be a waste of time? I mean, I think it'd be more of like the rest of the league would have to scream and Madrid would have to join it, not lead it. If they led it, I don't know how many would join behind that. You know what I mean? It's just political.
And I think it goes back to what you said. What would have happened if Madrid had been the one that got away with this? And I think it's that anti-Madridismo. I feel that sometimes might have to do with like, well, Madrid's lit in it, so it's because it has to do with Barcelona, and I think that's the way it would have been seen.
It's political. It'd be political.
It's political, yeah. But if it goes to, if the whole league decides to go and say, hey, you know what, this is hot crap, and putting it politely, in Madrid, yeah, they could take the torch and lead that after everybody else joined. But Madrid cannot always be the bad guy. We'd already seen as a bad boy, and you know what? And that number 13 on our badge, it gives us that presence that, yeah, we can do that because we are the biggest club in history. Regardless, we cannot always just be seen as the one that's always complaining. We need everybody else to always do their part because it's unfair for everybody. It's not just unfair to us.
Yeah, and this isn't the first brush up we've had with La Liga, by the way. This is where Real Madrid and La Liga really have a tumultuous relationship. Let's put it that way.
And the last 6 months has gotten even worse. I think the whole Superliga topic made it even worse and
It's
very
not-
public.
It's been bad for a number of years, as you know, because
Mm-hmm.
you remember those times where before a Clásico, for example, we would play later. We'd have less rest than our counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
That was a complaint. I remember, actually, truth be told, this team we played today, remember when we had to go to Vigo and there was this tremendous storm that knocked out like part of the roof?
Yes.
And so Celta, they had a Copa del Rey semifinal 3 days later. So they lobbied to La Liga saying we can't play. We had the storm happen, blah, blah, blah. And Madrid needed to play the game because they were running out of dates to play towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
And they were in the hunt for La Liga title. And so what they were saying, Real Madrid was going to La Liga saying, well, just close that section off. Don't allow fans in that section. Allow fans in the other part of the stadium, but let's have the game, or have no fans. Let's just have the game. And La Liga sat on their butts, and they ruled in favor of Celta. We're going to postpone the game. And Madrid are looking around like, what kind of what is this? What are we a part of? I mean, if you're going to do this to us, I mean, you're hurting us more than you're hurting them, because then Celta had an extra 3 days to rest before that Copa semi.
Yeah, and this is where the unfair advantages sometimes they're obvious without having to be vocal about them. It's like you just see you see the signs and you see them popping up everywhere, but you're like, well, at one point is it enough? Or what's going to make it be enough to where you actually get the chance to make actual changes that will make it level all around? And I don't have an answer. I wouldn't even know where to start.
No, I'm not. No, it's okay. It's not. Obviously, if I'm coming on really strong, I apologize to the audience. It's just, these are really things that are nagging. And Madridistas know exactly what I'm talking about, what we're talking about here.
Exactly. No, I get you.
No, we do know. It's just that, you have to do things the right way. In business, you have to do things in good faith and the right way. I mean, Madrid is about that. I mean, they are. I mean, this image that parts of the media try to put on, like you said it, bad boys or whatever. Bad boy. I mean, most decorated, sure, okay, fair enough. But bad boys. I mean, we're like the Super League concept was not to save us. We're gonna be fine. But there's other big clubs that are tanking. Like I had a chat with Juan Fernando Mora from BN last Friday, and on Charles con Cristian, and it's on YouTube. It's available to watch, by the way. He mentioned his argument against the Super League was, how is it that Madrid is screaming that they're poor, they're running out of money, yet they have 200 million to go to Mbappe? That sounds fantastic, right? That sounds simple enough, right? But
it's a noisemaker.
You know what? I didn't want to challenge that, but I'm going to say right now, we're not speaking for ourselves. We're speaking for the other clubs that signed that document, that are in the red. Okay, so it isn't just about us; it's about these other clubs.
It's about saving football.
Yes, and when was the last major purchase Madrid had? I mean, Hazard was 100, but before that, you had Karim, you had Cristiano was at 94, Bale was
the last big purchase before Hazard. Bale was the last big purchase.
Bale was 110. That was 2013, for crying out loud. But they make it sound like we do that every year. When you say something enough, you repeat it so many times, you're thinking that you're doing it constantly, which is not true. It's not true. It's just you say it enough times.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think people want to, when you say it enough and you think about it enough, you believe what you want to see, and you believe what you want to believe. And I think that sometimes the repetitiveness of it will just wear you out and make you.
I'm about to say a quote. And the quote is, if you repeat a lie long enough, it eventually becomes truth.
Spot on.
Adolf Hitler.
I've heard it, and I just said spot on because I understand the meaning of it, but the person that said it for the wrong reasons.
Wrong reasons, but it's the quote. Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to bring that up. that line. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna see how this shakes out, obviously. But again, today was a great day, winning the game. Our basketball team beating Barcelona 88-83 to win the Supercopa Endesa, the eighth in our history. So that was another nice token. We're not only soccer over here, we're basketball too, you know.
We are Real Madrid. We are an entity, and more than anything else, there is more than that. It's not just a men's club. There's also the ladies team, who I think that just had a great result in the middle of the week. Yesterday, well, perhaps it's not as great, but you know what? The lady team is also killing it. Basketball, we're always there. I feel like Real Madrid basketball is not only producing great players, but they're always challenging. And to this date, I've never been a huge fan of basketball, but I do follow Luka Doncic in the maps for that reason, because he is a Madridista de corazón, and that's one of those things where you're like, wow, this person is amazing, an incredible athlete. So Madrid produces quality players left and right, regardless of what sport you're actually looking at.
Absolutely. So, winning the Supercopa today, winning this game in La Liga after a long hiatus in the Bernabeu during the week, Real Madrid Femenino made history too, advancing in the Champions League, knocking out Manchester City. That was a big deal. We were tied 1-1 at home, and they go up to Manchester and win 1-0 on the road.
It was an amazing
Wow.
feat, and to be honest,
Shout out. Woo, shout out.
absolutely. I know that Real Madrid Femenino is a new concept for many people, but God, they are an amazing group of gals. They're an amazing group of athletes, because that's what they are. They shouldn't be seen as just like, oh, they're the girl team. No, they're an amazing group of athletes that have been there the last 2 years as Real Madrid, and literally just pouring their hearts and souls onto that pitch. I hope that they continue getting more and more recognition, and more than anything else, more and more support. Shout out to my to all the ladies that are out there killing it on the sport. I think they're doing great, and I hope that our audience just starts following them up more and giving them more support, because they do deserve it. And that team will start getting those decorations the same way the men's team has.
Yeah, well, in La Liga, I don't know how that's going to shake out, but I know that when the Super League starts, they're going to have primetime coverage. I know for a fact they're going to have primetime coverage. For example, they'll have games, let's say Mondays and Thursdays, right? And the men's teams are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and you and I and everyone else on the planet gets the channel, and we're able to watch those games. Not only
Mhm.
Real Madrid Femenino, but the other big clubs that have women's programs. They'll do much more
Absolutely.
for the women's game than UEFA will ever do.
Yeah,
Ever.
and that's one of those things. I feel like there's so much has been happening, like the fact that one being recognized, two being actually the equal pay, where they're starting to you're starting to hear a lot there's bigger contracts for a lot of the femenino players who are coming up, and now they are the world superstar. They should not be what makes them any less of a player, that just because they're on the women's side of soccer compared to the men's. I think that that's one of those things that's been changing. There's been many people advocating toward that, and generating support, and now the fan base appreciating and embracing those. And why what next time you get a jersey, yes, I love me some Karim Benzema, and I love me some Luka Modric, but you know what, maybe my next jersey will actually say Kenty Robles on it, because I actually love the way she plays. Or maybe it will say Alsani or Misa. There's so many amazing players there. Absolutely. Why not
Yeah.
support the team, because we are Real Madrid, and support Real Madrid Femenino, and support women's soccer out there, because it is just as good of a quality.
I think that when we get the first American female athlete in Real Madrid Femenino, that would be an earthquake.
You know what? I look forward to that. I
It's gonna
absolutely look
happen.
forward to
It's
that.
gonna happen. It will happen.
Yeah,
It will, no doubt.
it's going to be amazing to see this, and
Yeah.
I hope that that will generate more buzz from the American fan base to follow not just Real Madrid in general, but also follow the team, because United States has been a huge. I mean, they're the most successful country when it comes to women's soccer. We deserve somebody to be there in Real Madrid now that we are officially there, and we're officially challenging for every title that we're put in contention for.
Yeah, I mean, we have to compete with obviously Barcelona and Lyon and the Chelseas of the world out there. And Atletico even has a competitive female program, which
Hmm.
I think it's great. It's vibrant, it's competitive. Let's go. Let's do it. So but again, American women in soccer, I mean, second to none. Really, best of the best.
Absolutely. They're amazing. And soon enough, we'll see somebody out there. For
Ooh.
now, those of you that want to follow Real Madrid Femenino, the Real Madrid Twitch channel always shows their games. Follow them on there. That's how I've been following up with Real Madrid
So
Femenino.
you create an account on Twitch and follow them, and they show the games?
Yeah, you get alerts anytime they go live and they're showing the games. And I believe they have been showing a lot of the Castilla games as well. I can't say that they show all the Castilla games, but I know for sure that Real Madrid Femenino, they are showing them through the Real Madrid TV channel.
Through the Real Madrid Twitch channel.
Correct.
Okay, because the Real Madrid app would show Castilla games.
Correct. Yeah, but no, the Real Madrid channel through Twitch will be showing those. Okay. So yeah, I absolutely encourage people to, if you want to get to know the team, the players a little more, do yourself a favor. They are an amazing and very, very talented group of players that deserve just as much passion and support as we give to the men's team.
Unfortunately, they didn't win the Derby today. It happened at 3 a.m. our time, and I think at that time I was singing Backstreet Boys at a karaoke bar for a birthday party, so I couldn't. What is your favorite karaoke song to sing, Cesar?
I like Walking on Sunshine.
Oh,
yeah, you give me a couple bourbons and my very, very, very wannabe singer comes out, and
it's not "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears.
It will not be pleasant to hear, but believe me, I will have a great time. I don't know about you guys.
Let's see. It was Backstreet Boys, and then there was Careless Whisper. I mean, those are the classics, right?
Oh God, now you're taking it way back.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta throw the big ballads in there, man. Come on, Out of Touch, Hall & Oates.
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, you know what? Keep going back a little more. Throw in a little Motown in there or something. Maybe even just a little KC and the Sunshine Band. We got a party going on, Christian.
I know, man. Well, we've been partying. We've been partying, man. That's the thing, it's great. Going to a karaoke, just to mention, it's the first time that I've been to a karaoke bar since this pandemic began, because at a karaoke bar, as you know, you're in a room and you're singing, and you're in a enclosed space and the air is just bouncing around. Not really, you know what I mean? It's like one of the worst places you could be for trying to maintain a clean air environment, let's say. And so I started joking around with my friends, like, do we have to bring our own mics? Are we going to be are we going to be behind plexiglass?
Oh man, that is too funny. That is so funny.
In our own booth. No, what's funny is the bar that I went to last night, our table was at the end, at the corner, and there was a pole that was going from the floor to the ceiling, and we're like, what bar are we at? What?
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, just don't. I was like trying to keep my feet, keep away from that pole, man. I didn't even want to get near that,
Chris, you were too much, my brother. You were too much.
I don't know how we got to poles at a bar from Real Madrid,
but you know what?
I don't know how we got.
We love what we do, and we get to share a little bit of our joy with our audience. And you know what? I'll leave it at that. It's try to live a happy life, and bring it on.
It was great being with friends, being able to sing karaoke again, and have some drinks, and just some of that normalcy that we experienced before we're able to do again. I mean, it's really great. It really is. And hopefully more of us are able to experience that with our loved ones. And we just need to be more careful than past, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
Agreed.
what it is, but anyway, hopefully Real Madrid Femenino, they get revenge when they play at home against Atletico Femenino, and then they win that game. So
I hope they start getting a little more primetime games. Those 3 a.m.s up for us in the West Coast a little too early, but if they were to start just pushing them a little more, it would be great.
I'm waiting for ESPN to put Real Madrid on ABC, for crying out loud. They put Barcelona twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We
were just talking about the same thing earlier. I mean, in general, just.
Yeah. Like this is ridiculous. Anyway, I just they do like the rotation where they have teams that they're showcased on ESPN2 or ABC, and then the rest of the games are on ESPN Plus. I don't mind that if you could just please rotate correctly. And I don't even know if they did that this time around. They did all the games on ESPN Plus. I have no idea. I'm not the programming director, but I do know that they showed Barcelona twice on ABC. I know that much.
Yep. Well,
and Real Madrid, nothing. Should have been this. I think it should have been this game.
We need to pick it.
This game would have been nice to show on prime time. The first
That
game at Bernabeu would have been nice. 7 goals on top of that.
Jesus. Hey, you know what? We got
7.
Valencia coming up again. So maybe that one.
Yeah.
If not next time I'm on your show, I'm gonna have a picket sign.
There you go. There you go. Now, before we get to the Valencia game, Inter Milan, our first game in this. I'm calling it our last Champions League ever, because Super League is gonna happen next August. All you people that say it's not, it is gonna happen. So I'm taking Champions League this time around as our last hurrah to get number 14, and it starts on Wednesday night against Inter Milan at home. What do you think, Cesar?
It's going to be a tough game. I think Inter is coming from losing a couple key players from compared to last year. Obviously, losing Lukaku is going to be a big thing for them, and they'll make it click. I just hope they don't make it click just yet. I think it's going to be a good game, and if Madrid plays offensively the way we played today, we should be in good shape. However, I do expect Madrid to address those silly mistakes they had in defense today. We cannot afford that against a team with a lot more European presence the way Inter does.
Yeah, it will be obviously it's a tougher opponent, not only because of the competition we're in, but also who we're playing. And this is Real Madrid, Inter Milan. That's a classic rivalry. They had some battles in the 80s. I mean, there were some remontadas históricas that we did against them. I mean, it made some remontadas recently just look like nothing, piece of cake. Those in the 80s were tough. Like, I'm talking losing 4-1 on the road and having to win 5-1 at home to advance.
Yeah,
in that type of a situation. I mean,
football was different back then. Also, there was just a different feel to it. There was a different approach, different style of play. Right. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But I do think that last year we have basically, outside of Borussia Mönchengladbach, we have the same group, obviously. So I think that this year we'll be able to redo what we didn't do last year. Even though we took first place out of that group last year, we could have been easily third place. Up on that, we rode it to that sixth game. I think this year Real Madrid will put their foot forward from the start.
Yeah, I expect Madrid to come out more serious in this game Wednesday. I think that they're going to be more concentrated on all lines, not only on one line particularly. They're really going to take more communication between the players. I think that Ancelotti tomorrow and Tuesday, he's really going to be in their ears. He's really going to be after them, because silly mistakes here and there against Celta, they'll give you a hard time. But you do that in Champions League against Inter Milan, and you might end up losing the game. And it's not only that, there's only 5 games after that.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
Margin for error is much less.
Exactly. And you don't want to start chasing points in week 2 or 3 of the Champions League, because it's an easy key to advance in Champions League is win your home games and just don't drop all your points away. That should be an easy key to advance.
Yeah.
However, exactly. But regardless, I think Real Madrid needs to make sure we don't have a super complex team, but we also don't have an easy team. I mean, an easy group. Sorry about that. So I think it's going to be one of those groups where we should have learned a lot from last year, facing 2 out of those 3 teams. So it's going to be one of those things where Real Madrid really needs to just come in with the right mentality and know that we need to put or the pedal to the metal from the start.
Well, I mean, it's 99.9% we're going to advance. We advanced 28 years in a row from the group stage. And it's the fact that, we're going to play hard teams, obviously. It's a matter of, are we going to finish first or second? I mean, that's for us to not advance. We literally would have to do the unimaginable week in, week out within Champions League. That's literally what it would have to be.
And I don't see this team doing that. I think this team is very, very strong.
We're playing a team that's making their debut, and I think the Sheriff of Nottingham or whatever. I'm not sure what their name is. But...
I forgot the name of the city, but yeah, Sheriff. They're first time team in Champions League.
Sheriff Tiraspol. There you go. Thank you. Sheriff Tiraspol is their name. And here we go. This is exactly a group that shows you why the Super League should happen. This is exactly a group why. Because how much of a percentage is Sheriff Tiraspol or Shakhtar Donetsk going to win Champions League? What percentage?
0.1. Yeah, minimal.
Really?
The,
Inter
and
Milan, 6-5 and pick 'em maybe.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's just too many in expanding, opening up more teams. It's gonna dilute the competition.
Yeah,
So
right.
what's gonna be the next if it kept going that way? What's gonna be next? Oh, all the top teams, all the winners, they don't even have to play group stage. They just come in direct elimination.
Look at
That's the way it's gonna go if it keeps
yeah,
going this way.
look at the group Atletico has. That's a Super League group. How is that not exciting? How do you not want 8 more of those, 7 more of those?
I'm licking my chops just watching them, and I don't care
You
about
see
any of
that?
those.
Yeah. That if you have a group like that, 4 groups of that, or even 2 groups of 10 of that caliber, how do you not want that? I
Just
don't that's
do a
what
nice
I
round
don't
robin, and
understand. I don't understand this.
I,
I
I
just don't get it because it's like you're making the argument for the little guy, but you're not there to watch the little guy. You're not there to buy their jersey. You're there to buy the big jersey.
well, yeah, it's the one that sells. It's the one that calls out. It's the one that
Uh,
everybody knows.
yeah, it's hypocrites, man. Anyway, it's just
Battle
it's
for another day, pal.
yeah. Let's do that for another day. So anyway, but what do you think prediction wise for Wednesday nights?
I think we take it 3-1.
Wow.
I'm a bit
So
optimistic. I think
our scoring keeps going, right? Our
I,
scoring.
from what I saw in offense today, I saw a very on fire offense. I saw a very clicked on offense. Even Hazard, who didn't have a bad game when he was playing, he just wasn't necessarily at the rhythm of Vinicius or Kareem. But I think Vinny and Kareem, as long as those two keep playing at that level, it's going to be hard to stop us.
Yeah.
Once again, I say it. I don't know what kind of switch Vinny found, but this last few games, he has been amazing.
Yeah. I say 2-1. I'm going to give Inter some respect. They're the Italian champions. They have to. They're the 3-time Champions League winners in the past. They won the title 11 years ago. People
Hmm.
forgot that, but they did, and they're in Champions League as Italian champions. Yeah, they have some losses, but I think that they're gonna get a goal somehow,
Oh
some way.
yeah, yeah.
But
I think a 3-1.
we're gonna get 2. I think that Karim will score again. I think he'll get one. I think Vinicius will get another goal. I think that he's going to continue moving forward on that. So I'd say 2-1.
I like it.
So how are you guys doing up there, man, in San Francisco? How was the viewing party at the new spot?
We're in a bit of a transition mode right now. We're it's been a bit difficult. Not gonna lie, it's perhaps not what I want to really put out publicly and whatnot. It's been difficult because the pandemic has just made it very hard for us. One,
Yeah,
out of respect and out of the just making sure we take care of all of our members. We didn't have any meetings for or live events for a year and a half. Or home venue came back around for a couple of weeks, and then restrictions came back around in the city. So
yeah,
our home venue shut down again. So we ended up having to cancel last week, and we're looking right now for an alternative venue to kind of host us a little bit. Today we were able to meet, but it's just been difficult trying to gather the momentum and having to make last minute changes and adjustments. It's been challenging. We're trying. The board is definitely very hands on and trying to do what we can. We're trying to work with the potential sponsor to kind of help us, promote a little more and try to engage a little more. We know that San Francisco is open, to a certain degree, but it's just been a little difficult. And as much as we want to be able to say we're back to 100% right now, we're not quite there yet, but our efforts continue heading in that direction,
yeah.
and we just hope that that it works out.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks for the update, and we really hope and pray that this situation improves all around across the board. I mean, it's quite endearing. It really is. It's a lot of hard work. People that are not penistas, they do not realize the blood, sweat, and tears that go into organizing peñas. They don't understand.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of sacrifice, and I mean, being a peñista, being a part of a peña is one thing because it's you show up and you enjoy and you have a beer and you have a couple laughs with a friend. You watch Real Madrid win and you go home. Also, once you step to another level, and now you're more of on the leadership board, and you're trying to create these events like you said and trying to put together. It's even more difficult because it's all time we're devoting out of our own time. It's like this is not just a hobby for us. It becomes a job with a non-paying job. We're doing this because we care about our group, we care about the organization, we care about bringing Madridistas together. So it's all donated time and efforts that we're putting together. And a huge shout out to my wife and my family for always supporting everything that we're trying to do. And it's a lot of time that we invest in this, and we do it for the well-being of our peña, and we hope that it always provides the right results.
Yeah, and I mean on our Pena, Sur de California, I mean we're still waiting to figure out how to get back to viewing parties because the county of Los Angeles and our region in general, I mean it's topsy turvy. It's one
Hmm.
thing one day, it's one thing another day, and you have to literally move at lightning speed.
Hmm.
If you are organizing things frequently, you have to stay on top of it, and the speed that we move at the board level is not the same as in years prior.
It's
Uh,
difficult.
it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I was chairman until 2016, and it's really difficult for people to continue to put forth the same effort and the same energy and dedication over a long period of time. I mean,
Hmm.
also there are people that circumstances change. They move, they have a new career, they have maybe a new addition to their family even. I mean, it's a lot of things happen in life, and it'll hinder the ability to work in that type of an organization and these things that we do.
Yeah.
You know.
And the level of comfort right now, I think that even if some locations are open or we were able to host an event, or like in your situation in Southern California, just because you're able to host an event doesn't mean that people are going to be as willing to come out as often before,
No.
because it's not just about one person showing up and being careful for themselves. It's about what others are around. And we just don't have the it would be irresponsible for us to play with the safety of others. So I think that it's for that reason is, if we're gonna come in and just get a small percentage of the attendance that we would get in the past, we'll still try to do something as long as it's safe. But it's just difficult. We don't want it to become discouraging. We just wanted to make sure that it becomes something that it will continue to grow and one day get us back to where we were.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to want to remind everyone that on September 25th, talk about a special event that took some time to organizing. Managing Madrid is coming to Los Angeles. They're recording a live episode in front of a live audience, and I'm going to be making a guest appearance. It's going to be at in Silver Lake at a bar called 33 Taps. You can get your tickets. I'll leave the link down in the description. Where we had to, I mean, we really went around the region to find a spot that would work with us because I mean there were places that did not want to have a large group of people, and then the outdoor venues that we tried to do it at, it was too difficult logistically. Outdoor bars were charging three, four, five, $6,000 for 3 hours. Like it's just way too much going on, and trying to organize something. We were finally, able, Keon and I, were able to put this thing together, and it's going to be great. We're going to have members. Fresno Pena is going to send some members down for this event. Some of ours are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of Madridistas from the region. So, if you can make it, it'd be great. Cesar, your Pena, you and your
Thank you.
Pena are obviously invited if you can make it down. I know it's a trip, but it's a Saturday night, 7 p.m., 7 to 10. We're going to be chatting everything Real Madrid and showcasing California Madridismo to the fullest. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great event, and it's going to be the first stop in their world tour. So,
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much, Chris. And say hello to Kian from all of us here at Pena Madridista San Francisco. If we can, we'll definitely try to make an appearance. Can't really guarantee, like I said, it's a bit of a trek for us all the way from Northern California, but in spirit, we would absolutely be there. And just make sure that just
yeah.
pass on our regards to the team.
Absolutely. And before I close this episode, Cesar, I want to thank you very much for jumping in and chatting about Real Madrid. It was a big game, big day for us. And it's really great to have you on talking about this. You really are a natural and super passionate. And I couldn't have asked for anyone else to join at this moment. I mean, it's great for you to come on.
No, I appreciate it, Chris. You know that I'm always here. You need somebody, let me know. I'm always happy to participate. I love discussing Real Madrid, talking Real Madrid with somebody that understands how it's felt from the way I see it, the way I feel it, the way I call it, and more than anything else, this something that we do because Real Madrid means so much to us. So the fact that that getting that recognition from you, it's amazing. I appreciate it. Thank you, and more than anything else, you always have my support. And at any point, if you ever need me, I'm always here to chat some more Real Madrid with you.
Absolutely. And by the way, beautiful jersey behind you.
Hey, absolutely. That one right there or that one?
Well, both of them, but I like the one in black.
Oh, absolutely. I still hear that somehow people are still having nightmares about a so-called Fernando Redondo in Old Trafford to this day.
The
That's hearsay.
the taco naso that will
The-
never be forgotten.
oh no, somebody's still chasing him.
I love that. I have that jersey, by the way. That black
uh,
one is well, his name and number are on the 1999, the blue jersey.
mhm.
That's the
Oh,
one that have his
beautiful.
name and number
I
on the
have become
black one.
quite an aficionado and slowly becoming a collector of vintage Real Madrid jerseys. They're not easy to acquire, especially with so many sometimes forgeries out and about. But whatever I see, if I see a good deal, I mean, most of them, if I can, I'll wear them. If not, they go in my vault. And vintage jerseys, it's something I'm always. To this day, I'm still hoping I can get myself an Hugo Sanchez vintage jersey, and maybe one day I'll meet the man. He as a fellow Mexican is the one that got me to love Real Madrid since I was a little kid.
Yeah, exactly. And Redondo was the one that brought me to and Di Stefano, by the way.
Hmm.
Those two, because I'm Argentine descent. For the everyone watching that doesn't know that, I am Argentine descent, and Fernando Redondo and Alfredo Di Stefano are the two Madridistas that I idolize from the club first, and then everyone else followed after that. So also, before we close, I wanted to mention, Madrid had a moment of silence for Lorenzo Sanz, former president of Real Madrid, who perished during the COVID-19 pandemic. That was a very moving moment. But also, I'd like to mention everyone here that last Saturday, a fellow friend of mine, socio of Real Madrid, his name is Sergio Martinez, 46-year-old man, socio number 24,991, succumbed to cancer. Unfortunately, he had a 5-month battle, and I remember meeting him. I remember meeting him June of 2013 when I went to Madrid for the first time as a Peñista, as the Peña Sur de California chairman, and he was a part of Peña Capote Montera, and their
Hmm.
bar was where Tonino Torero owns, and
Rincón de Turín.
that he was there to welcome me. We went out a couple of times and hung out. We went to a reunión de peñas in Valdebebas. He was there. We stayed in touch ever since. And he had surgery, but it came back aggressively, and they just couldn't do anything more about it, unfortunately. And he succumbed to it. And he was a wonderful man. Really, a lot. He loved to tell jokes. He had a great smile. He is super passionate about Madrid. He loved Vinicius Jr. He loved Vinicius Jr. And so today, the team winning and Vinicius, scoring a goal, that was quite something. And I saw a few friends of mine. They put roses, flowers on his seat and a candle, and his social card you know. And so I'd like to
Oh,
ask everyone
tribute.
here to, say a prayer for his family and his loved ones, and also for Lorenzo Sanz, and really keep them in mind
Our
because,
condolences to the family.
yeah, it was hard. I heard about the news. I read about the news when I was in Palm Springs last weekend. I woke up in the morning and just a flood of messages on WhatsApp, a flood of them from Madrid. And I was like, something happened. It's not good when something like that goes on, and it's
Yeah.
not a weekend. There's games. Not, what I mean? So that you're thinking, uh-oh. And so it was tough. It was tough, but his memory will live on. His memory will live on, as well as Lorenzo Sanz. So anyway, just wanted to leave it with that. So anyway, Cesar, thank you very much. Hope to have you on very, very soon. Say hi to everyone over there for me, and everyone who tuned in. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, drop the comments, give a thumbs up. Please, please, we want to have you tell us what do you think about us. What do you think about this show? Do you think we need to have another guest? Do you think we need to talk for 2 hours instead of one? Like, what? Let us know. What makes it better, right? Let us know. All right. Anyway, a la Madrid nada más. Cesar,
Hala Madrid.
take it
Thank
easy,
you.
buddy.